Very good, Kobe. And just one other thing Kobe forgot. But welcome, Joe. And A's do stand for applause, so let's have a round of A's for Joe coming in tonight. There we go. Come on, A's, applause, applause. Okay, that's enough applause for Joe. I mean, let's not give him a big head. Joe, good to see you tonight. Everyone else here, welcome to the Trinity Clubhouse, whatever this place is called. We've been doing a series about, I'm not sure, I forget where Joe fits in this, but we've been doing a series of people who have actually hot water extraction guys that either switched over completely or at least partially to a low moisture with the Trinity machine. Last few weeks we have had some very good, interesting, very knowledgeable guests. But today we decided to mix it up a little bit and have Joe in. So, sorry, Joe, I can't help it. Joe, get on the mic and just tell me how you doing there, buddy.
Can you hear me? I'm on not the fastest internet connection, but okay, good. It has been a while since I've been in here. How I've been lately, had some health issues, dealing with that. This business is, I don't have anything to complain about. We are completely 100% very low moisture. We've been so over a year now for carpet and mostly tile. Very, very rarely do we break out the hot water extraction equipment to do any, and really that's more a function of what the client wants. Of course, I charge a lot more for hot water extraction, but as far as what I've been up to, just trying to build my business. I've got the carpet cleaning business, and we've got the rug washing business. And I'd be happy to talk about either of those.
Well, I appreciate coming in, though. So why don't we start at the beginning? Because I'm not sure if I just forget what your history is, or Kobe said something about you not even being in the business that long, and I know you had I believe you had a previous career. I forget what that is, but so what? How did you have a previous career, and what was that, and when and how did you get into the carpet cleaning business initially, and how long ago was that, and why did you do that?
Okay, yeah, I did have a previous career. I spent 7 years in college studying finance, actually, and criminal justice. My original intent was to become an attorney, and then I realized that I hated attorneys the more classes that I took, so I decided that I didn't want to be unhappy the rest of my life. So I kind of got involved in a Wall Street environment, and was involved in the financial markets for I think it was 5 years, 4.5, 5 years, something like that. Anyways, the markets, what I realized about the markets was it wasn't exactly the place for me to be. I didn't feel I just didn't feel at home. Didn't enjoy the environment, that kind of thing. That's all I'll really say about that. But having put everything that I had into the businesses that I was involved in before, and abruptly changing careers, I found myself needing to get into something right away. And really kind of funny, what happened was the house that my wife and I were renting, when we went to move out, the landlord said, "Did you have the carpets cleaned?" And I said, "Yeah, I basically cleaned them myself. I rented a rug doctor." He said, "Oh, because the only carpet cleaner in town that I'm aware of just went to jail for." He was like taking 14, 12-year-old girls camping, and you probably could figure out the rest. And so I thought, in the back of my mind that, cleaning carpet couldn't be that difficult. So got online and did a bunch of research and actually found the Rotovac startup set. And I bought their cheapest thing I could get, which was they sold me a rebuilt 360, and I had a Mighty Portable with a 25-foot vacuum hose and a solution hose. And I basically started cleaning carpet for this property manager out of the back of my SUV. And what I had found over time, at the time I bought the products that I got were from CTI or Pro's Choice. And they somehow I signed up for their emails. I started getting into the Pro Cleaners Network, started looking into other equipment. I actually bought myself a truck mount. I advertised, really mildly around here, and just kind of built the business that I have. By the way, this was in 2009. What I found was that there was a demand for not just carpet cleaning, but people around here had not experienced good quality work. And so I'm a little bit anal in terms of, I've got to be proud of what I'm doing. I've got to be happy with what I'm doing. And I just want to give people the best product that I can. And so as I made little bits of money here and there, it wasn't like overnight success or anything, but I just bought little pieces of equipment, and I think the first thing I bought above and beyond my original package was a water claw, because I wanted to make more money doing pet jobs. And so just one piece of equipment at a time. And to be frank, I really couldn't afford any of the stuff that I bought. I'll talk, I guess, a little later about our current operation. But I'll look at little tools and I'll remember the sacrifice that we made in order to buy it, and the things that I wasn't able to buy and wasn't able to do because I was busy buying equipment. And so over the course of the year, we got the truck mount, and then that was really exciting. And I really loved having all the power, and then I got into modifying that and got into heat and all that crazy stuff, just building my own equipment really. And then I found where did I see John's stuff on PCN? I can't remember if it was on PCN or if somehow I fell across his website somehow. It probably was through Pro Cleaners Network. But I just went through every single page of the Trinity program, and there's no way that this works. This cannot be doing a better job than I'm doing with my truck mount. There's no way. And some of the videos that sold me, he doesn't even have them on there anymore. I kind of feel like I've lost the direction of where I'm going with answering your question, so I'm going to turn it back over to you so you can help me get back on track.
Well, let's just to clarify, what year did you start the business with the Rotovac? And I just have to say, I talked to that Rotovac, but I guess anyone who Googles carpet cleaning business, that Rotovac site must come up, because I cannot tell you how many. John, whatever Rotovac is doing, you got to do with TRSR, because how many people have we heard start with the Rotovac system? Anyway, what year is it that you went in and started with the Rotovac? And then what year did you purchase the truck mount? And what type of truck mount was it? And I guess you had to purchase a van then too, because you were working on the your SUV initially.
Okay, so just continuing on, I guess it was October of 2010 that I got the Rotovac startup kit. And I had that, I think I bought my first truck mount. It was an Amtex truck, and it was in the following July. So July of 2011. And the reason why I got the Rotovac is because I Google searched carpet cleaning startup or carpet cleaning business kits or something like that, startup kit. And the reason the Rotovac appealed to me was because you really don't need any skill to run a Rotovac. And what I was sold on was the fact that you can work your ass off with a wand, get really good with a wand, and you're still not going to have the results you're going to have with a Rotovac. So that's what sold me on that. Plus, I mean, I'm looking at a complete system, and really, it's bare bones. I mean, you've got a 25-foot vacuum hose, a 25-foot solution hose. The extractor that I got didn't even have heat. I mean, you basically roll up. You've got. I mean, I bought a weed sprayer. I mixed my pre-sprays in the weed sprayer, and at the time, I didn't even know about using an acid rinse. I mean, just absolutely knew nothing. Didn't take any classes or anything. I watched the Rotovac videos. Talked to my sales rep, who was also a part-time carpet cleaner. And so really just kind of figured it out on my own over the course of that first year, or 8 months, whatever it was, until I got the truck mount. Then I realized, hey, I've been rubbing sticks together, and now I've got all this suction and all this heat and all this power, and I've really felt like I took my cleaning to the next level. I mean, didn't have to empty my solution tank every 3/4 of a room. I mean, the truck mount I bought had an automatic pump out. I mean, I was having foam issues. You overfill your tank there, and then you got to buy the defoamer, and it was just going from one step to the next where I was looking for something that was more efficient. It was faster. All of a sudden, I went from doing one house a day to where I could do 2, and then when I actually had a friend come and help me, we could do 3. And so I got busier and busier, and the equipment, I bought equipment as I could afford it as time went on. I mean, I remember when I bought my first hose reel, and I thought I was really cool because I didn't carry in 2 25-foot vacuum hoses in a bag anymore like I did when I first got started. And then I think I did that for about a year, and I bought the Trinity. Okay, so it was the following July that I bought the Trinity, so we're in 2012. And I got the one that John had on his website. It was the red, white, and blue one, and it was something about, patriotic something sale. He had the Love America red, white, and blue Trinity, and, I called up John, and I said, hey, listen, that's such a good price on that Trinity, but the prior couple of months I had been doing a bunch of research on the Trinity, and I said to John, I said, hey, the price you've got on that Trinity, I can't remember what it was, but it's a really good price, and I don't have the money right now, but I wonder if I could put a down payment on the machine, and you could just hold it for me like a layaway, and then as soon as I have it paid off, you can ship it out to me. And I think it probably took me 2 months from that time. I think I got the machine in the end of August, maybe beginning of September, somewhere around there. And that kind of, I think that catches us up to where you were asking, Paul. Does that bring you up to speed?
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, getting ahead of them, actually. So, no, very good, very good. I just want to go back from the get-go, though. When you first of all, did you say that you were the only carpet cleaner in town, or the apartment manager? What town is that? Is that your hometown of what's your hometown? I forget. It's in Wyoming. Jackson Hole. Is that how many carpet cleaners are there in Jackson? And tell me about that community. Is that a well-to-do community? Is that a vacation spot? Is it seasonal? Tell me a little bit about your hometown, if you would, just so we know what might make it different from where the rest of us are.
Okay, so the area that I currently service is a really large area. To go from north to south, it's probably a 4-hour drive. East to west is probably 3 hours each direction. So I live right smack dab in the middle of an area that is just outside of Jackson Hole. Jackson Hole is the largest community that we service, but we're kind of in the middle of the Rocky Mountains where you go from, you go up a canyon and then there's a valley, and then we go to that community, that's the Jackson area, or you go down another canyon and then there's Pinedale, and then another canyon the other direction is Star Valley, and then you've got Swan Valley to the north, and so our service area is really big. The initial area that I started working in, I was told by the property manager that hired me that there weren't any other carpet cleaners around. Come to find out, there weren't any other carpet cleaners that he wanted to hire. So we've got a guy here who, he runs around with a little rug doctor and he calls it carpet shampooing. And then we've got a chem dry outfit. We've got another guy, just a guy who has a van and a truck mount. And then we've got a couple other companies. Service Master comes here. So we're not the only ones around. And in Jackson itself, there are probably 15 to 20 different carpet cleaners. So we're not the only ones around in the area. And I can't remember what your other question was, Paul.
I'm not sure I can, but just before you got the Trinity, so we're in 2011, you got a truck mount, your business, I guess, is doing okay. Now, you had to put a deposit on the Trinity, so you're not rolling in cash, but it sounds like you're kind of are you supporting your family on is the business supporting your family at least at this point, or do you have some other income coming in? How is the business going prior to the Trinity?
As far as first got started, we from day one we were able to exist. We'll put it that way. I wouldn't say we really didn't have anything. We've rented places we've lived. We've never been high on the hog kind of people, and so from day one we were basically able to make ends meet, and that's basically how it went for the first year. But as things have gotten bigger, we've expanded our business. Let me put it this way: back into the business. And so from the very beginning, it's been, the business is something that's going to support us in the future, and we're still building it. I mean, it's not, it isn't done by any means. We've gone from me just running around in the SUV taking jobs where I can find them to we're a 2-truck operation now with an additional rug washing business, and we're probably going to be a 3-truck operation by the end of the year. But as far as how we were doing with hot water extraction versus how we do now, what it came down to for me was, after I had enough data where I could actually look at the numbers and say, okay, where am I profitable, where am I not profitable, what makes me the most money, what costs me the most money, I was able to look for a system that would be more profitable, more efficient for me, and what would be a better product for my clients. And so when I looked at numbers, strictly numbers from hot water extraction to what I'm doing now, for example, my fuel cost for my box truck and my truck mount in it roughly on average was just under $2,000 a month. That's just my fuel cost. And that's, granted, I'm running a large area. So to run the box truck back and forth, run the truck mount, do our thing, monthly I'm spending $2,000 in gas. What we're currently spending with 2 trucks on the road, my total fuel bill now is about $400 total. And so I can run 2 trucks now cheaper than I could run 1 box truck, plus it's more profitable. So I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, I'll turn it back over to you, and you can ask the next one.
Yeah, and you're doing great, Joe. This is great stuff. Really helping out the guys here. And keep in mind, Joe, too, I know we have a few new guys, so I know they're listening in real good. Now let's just talk about this purchase of your first Trinity machine, and I know you have more than one now. So you found out about this Trinity machine, and you researched this OP method. You watched a bunch of videos on Gurking's site. What were you thinking were you thinking, okay, maybe this might augment did you when you first purchased your first Trinity, did you have any idea how much you were really going to love this method of cleaning and how this would really transform your business? Because it sounds like that's exactly what it did. It really transformed your business. So just tell me about this thought process that went in about getting the Trinity, and then if you could maybe, when you first started using the Trinity, again, what you thought about it, what made you go, wow, this is the way to go.
I think, and by the way, I apologize, I don't have a camera. This laptop, I think I bought in 2003, and it's still kicking. But anyways, it doesn't have a built-in camera. When I first got the Trinity, I was so excited because, the GoPro. I think that's out in my van. I don't think I have the bandwidth to run the GoPro at this bandwidth that I'm running. When I first got it, I was really excited. I bought all kinds of pads, all kinds of chemicals that from CCS. But prior to that, one thing that always really fascinated me was the science of cleaning and working with different pHs and different fibers and pet damage. I was hell bent on knowing the most about why the products that I use work and which products to use, which chemicals are in those products, what is their pH, why does this one work better than that one. And so for me personally, when I first got the Trinity, it was tough because it's a completely different approach than hot water extraction. And so there was a learning curve for me that probably took me, I would say, a good 4 to 5 months before I felt like I can out clean myself from hot water extraction. And I would look at people's videos online on YouTube, and it got to the point where I really felt, hey, you know what? I bet I could out clean that guy. I bet I could have got that spot out or that clean or made that area look a little better. For me, it's been an obsession. How can I become the best at not only carpet cleaning, but in this really tiny niche of oscillating pad cleaning? And I don't know if there's a way you can quantify, are you the best? It's what is the result at the end of the day? Were your clients happy? Are they going to give you feedback? At the end of the week, did you make enough money to cover your expenses, pay your employees, have enough profit at the end of the month? I mean, for me, it's an overall it's an overall bird's eye view of what is making my company successful, and that approach comes from looking at where I've been in the past. And so in terms of the Trinity itself, there was definitely a learning curve, because for me, it just, does it look better? It's why does it look better? How did I get it to look better? If I didn't make it, as awesome as I could have with the truck mount, what could I have done better to make it that way? And so, I've tried probably every traffic lane cleaner and spotter and product from almost every company that I could possibly find out there, and I really feel like we've got a good setup going now. But it's not just that for me, it's how cost effective is it. There are products that are really expensive that don't clean as well as something that's less expensive. So, I mean, I look at my products that I use. I know what it costs me a square foot to spray it down. I know how much product I need to keep on the shelf for the next month, because we have a projection on how much we're going to need to buy versus how many jobs we can do. And so for me, it's the science and the math. It's the geeky stuff. It's the dorky stuff. The stuff that I have always been fascinated with. And so, it's not just, I wake up in the morning, I'm almost out of this cleaner, I better order me a gallon. No, I buy stuff by the 55-gallon drum now. But, that's not something that everybody can afford to do. It's just something that we've eventually slowly worked up to doing. But as far as the Trinity goes, I hesitate to say it's not as easy as it sounds in the beginning when you're coming from the hot water extraction background. But if you get into it, I think if there was a way of having a system in place like we have, anybody can do it. I would put my tech up against anybody else out there, and he doesn't even know why the products that he uses works. He just knows what products to use based on what I have shown him. And it really is just a system. And I honestly feel like you could teach a monkey to do this, and with hot water extraction you can't do that. There's too much. There's too many factors that go into it. Or what if my truck mount breaks? What if this hose bursts, or that belt tears? Or I mean, there's so many things that it's like you've got to be there watching it, because you bought it, you bought the machine, you read the owner's manual, and sending somebody out there and expecting them to perform really, really well, the advantage goes to the system that we currently use. I mean, to go from running around in a box truck that gets about 8 miles to the gallon to these little mini cargo vans that we run around now where we get 30 miles to the gallon, and there's only a handful of equipment in there. I mean, to do a better job with quote-unquote inferior equipment, to me, the costs are just crazy. I mean, just from being able to save the money on fuel, we could buy another truck, outfit it, and pay a guy a decent wage based on the savings that we have on the fuel. Yeah, we run around in the Nissan NV200, the mini cargo vans. They're tiny bit bigger than the Ford Transit. I'm going to pass it back over to you, Paul.
The next, I guess. So you purchased your first Trinity, and then I guess a year later you purchased some more. And why don't you tell us, where does your business stand now, and how many Trinities? You said you had 2 vehicles. So 2 vehicles. How many Trinities? Talk a little bit about your rug operation. Then I'm going to ask you some questions about your method, all the steps of your cleaning process. So you guys may want to get some pen and paper out to take some notes.